This presentation is about Renzo Piano's philosophy, which include his thinking and design process, principles, and methodology. Throughout my research, I have extracted three main principles: light, material expressionism, and sociology. Renzo Piano considered light as an architectural element, an essential principle he kept from working with Louis Kahn. Sunlight becomes part in the space making, creating this paradox of ambiance and silence. One example is the Kimball Museum, where sunlight is a functional expression. Now, how the sunlight pierces the building and the space is another important factor. In this case study, Louis Kahn uses louvers in this convex shape, right? So taking this louver down and analyzing it, Renzo Piano uses it as a module and creates iterations from it. So there's a copy, a slice, a mirroring effect, and repetition. These louvers are now tool and act as diffusers. Renzo Piano plays with different reflection from one surface to another, filtering and dimming sunlight to a well-balanced and illuminated space. He has carried this principle in many other projects. The essential part is the aperture itself. It becomes a machine with a specific form, a specific location in the building. So aperture not only in fenestration, but in roof designing as well, in different form and scales. In the shard, for example, aperture becomes an infinite envelope with glass. This can be argued and linked with the use of glass as a principle of material expressionism, which I will develop in the next few slides. So Renzo Piano worked with engineers for some time, and Richard Roger was a partner in St. George in Pompidou. So now his knowledge in structure comes to use in with Richard Roger, they create this masterpiece with material expressionism, with steel, glass, and pretty much anything that is an industrial material, right? So it becomes an essential project because this is where he gets recognized as a high-tech architect, which is an introduction to a new chapter. So high-tech is colorful, aesthetic, right? So it's an advanced structure and machine-like architecture with industrial material. So years after that, he started to explore this material and high-tech principles and brings shear surfaces in the Pate foundation. So the process in which he starts the building is by analyzing the site, its limitation, and surroundings. Right. So because the building codes are strict and looking at the building, the position, and the light direction, he created this creature, as he calls it himself, that fits and touches the reserved site for this building. So now the challenge is in the sunlight and privacy of the building itself and the surroundings, right? So he covers this building with this shell for privacy over this rib cage structure and add wood as a new material. So he pairs them with steel, right? So it's a language he started in 2005 for the Cologne building in Germany. And here the rib cage is exposed and the envelope is just glass. He uses the same language for interior structure the year after to the Bate Foundation. So his thinking and process can be classified as repeatability, right? So when something used in the past worked really great, he brings it over to the next project, adding or changing a slight aspect of it. The last principle of sociology introduces Renzo Piano with sensibility, thinking, and design process um, in client type, in environment, site. history, as well as project type and function. Now, Caledonia construction includes merely the Iroquois wood, which is a local tree that's tough and dense and durable. It does not require regular treatment with varnish and is resistant to moisture. So this wood is essential as a building material, considering the city of Numia is in an island, pretty much. So Renzo Piano orientated the building facing the prevalent winds from the ocean. Considering the climate is hot and humid, he incorporates an efficient passive cooling system, providing fresh air ventilation. So now we can debate that it becomes an eco-friendly building, right? So because this double skin system brings fresh breeze from the ocean down to the indoor spacing, it's pretty much removing the use of air conditioning. So using the indigenous and Kanak construction system and vernacular architecture, to some extent, he encouraged local builders in the making of the Gibao Center. So Renzo Piano actually he always had this idea of not making the center for you, but making it with you. So taking the knowledge of structure and layering, Renzo Piano's process started with models and of smaller scales to a section of the actual scale of the building. So this Ejibao Center includes his principle of repeatability, of ribcage structure, material expressionism as well, and partially sunlight. So now this last image shows how it is represented in the site and it becomes a camouflage with the trees in Numia. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope to get some feedback and great. Thank you.